Oh, welcome to Take It or Break It, the Sports Takes talk show, your dreams, your nightmares. I'm your host, Corbin Smith. Stumbling out of the wreckage of audio problems.
Oh yeah, there's no way that our listeners need to hear that.
But it's like important to my life right now. Well,
doesn't matter. We're moving on from it immediately.
Oh, you kidding? You don't. All right, fine, whatever, fine. Who gives? Fuck Corbin's problems. Fuck the things Corbin is feeling.
Yeah, pretty much. So there's a detail. Do you read this report about the Tim Donaghy stuff that came out this week?
Yeah. Oh shit, I didn't. I'm sorry. I should have.
It's okay. It's really long. I just finished it. So you want to hear this detail?
Go right ahead.
Tommy Martino, who was basically, if you guys remember from our last podcast on this topic, basically Tim Donaghy's go-between.
This one is going on the regular feed.
Okay, yeah. So we talked on the premium feed about Tim Donaghy's. Somewhat fatefully, we decided to talk about Tim Donaghy's shitty memoir, Personal Foul.
right before ESPN released a story about him. It was pretty weird.
And then right before some shit went down in the Lakers-Rockets game last night that we'll talk about. But so Tommy Martino is basically Tim Donaghy's go-between between him and this dude Batista, who's like the sort of crime lord who is, I guess, making the most money off of all this bullshit.
And he was also he was also in Guardians of the Galaxy. Good joke, Corbin. Anyway, continued, John.
Oh, right. You made that actually same joke on the podcast.
Did I really? All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it was like a 3 out of 10 when the first time you made it.
And this time it was a -2.
No, it was like a 3.7. It was slightly better.
Oh, thank you. I'm happy to hear that.
I think you tried too hard to make it work the last time, and this time you knew it was shitty, so it was a little better.
Okay, so this time I owned how crappy it was, and that
right. Yeah.
Right, okay.
But so here it says Tommy Martino late at night on the phone with Donaghy, the pair having developed a nightly before bed ritual.
Mm-hmm.
If Donaghy's pick was a winner, if the spread had been covered, Martino calling the ref, he would call the ref, Donaghy, and whisper, "Good boy." And I'm of the belief that this is the whole reason he did it.
Oh yeah, 100%. Okay, we can. All right. So if you didn't hear our premium Tim Donaghy episode, first off, good episode. Subscribe to the premium feed. But like part of the thing with that really refracts out of this Donaghy book is that he just has unbelievable please love me daddy stuff.
It's insane.
Yeah. And there's a part where he says the hardest part of telling everybody that I worked with the mafia to not fix basketball games, I swear, but to give spreads was that I had to tell my father.
Yeah, he's like, oh, I almost cried, but Donaghy men don't cry.
I almost cried, but Donaghy men don't cry. And Tim Donaghy, toxic masculinity, guys.
I mean, at this point, Tim Donaghy has, at least according to him, had his family threatened by a gangster.
Yes,
that doesn't seem like it matters to him nearly as much as having to tell his dad he was a bad boy. It's really not as big of a deal. And so I think that the Pavlovian sort of regimen of being called a good boy, the thing he always wanted his whole life, because he was sort of the inferior child in the Donaghy family too, as he tells us. I think that that's the whole reason he did this.
It's just so that somebody wouldn't.
It wasn't about the money. It wasn't about even. I think he liked being a bad boy too. And he was a good boy.
Yeah, because he's Catholic, so he gets the he gets the juice out of being a bad boy.
In the words of Jim Boylan, I'm pumped about it, man. I'm juiced.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks for
there's a lot
me,
of
Wills.
stuff. There's a lot of stuff in this report. There's an overwhelming sort of sense from the writers at ESPN who put this very long report together. Scott Eden has the byline, but it's very clearly like a company production. Very overwhelming sense. And this has to do with like a lot of stuff they did in the sort of statistics department that like Donaghy definitely fixed games he was officiating. Absolutely, right? I think that they put down a statistic after they'd done like a lot of different analysis of it, where they say that there's the odds that he would have made the calls that he made like by chance without any sort of bias is like 6,000 to 1 or something. Because if you look back at it and you look at the games that he was officiating during this period, like there's some very conspicuous stuff going on. And one of the things that I apparently told someone during all of this, I think it was Batista or Martino, was that one of his main things, he said, first of all, that he could sway a game by as much as 6 points either way. He said that he had that ability. And he said that one of the things he would do was whatever team he was trying to sort of, stem their momentum to sort of get the favorable spread, he would just call an illegal defense on them very early, because it would like fundamentally alter their aggression defensively, like the whole game. And so this honestly is not dissimilar from the way that his fucking best friend, Scott Foster, who he had like more phone calls with than he did with his bookie during these years.
Yeah, because they were best buddies.
Well, this is how he tells it in the book, right? He's like, me and Scott were always gossiping and gabbing. He was like my brother. And I'm like, oh, sure. That's all you were doing. Okay, whatever. He has all these conversations with Scott Foster. He gives us this sort of number one strategy he uses to sort of fuck with the spread. And what does Scott Foster do last night? He calls 3 fouls on James Harden in the first 8 minutes of the game.
Oh, shit.
James Harden, who is never mad, right? That's why he makes everyone mad, I think.
Yeah. Because he's an Iceman.
Exactly.
He also doesn't foul people a lot.
And he wasn't mad last night either. He was very calmly and reasonably like just commenting on this after the game. He's like, yeah, this guy clearly has a personal problem with us. I don't think he should be officiating our games.
Yeah, and also it should be said, like, Donaghy's book is like horse shit. I will say, I do think it's fine. He has like one example of how he didn't fix games. Like, he can only think of one example in his whole book about like, this is why I didn't fix games. Pretty funny. Anyway, but Donaghy does. Oh my lord, it's snowing.
Oh, cool.
Just a little bit. It's dusting. More like, oh geez, I was gonna go on a walk today. I don't think I'm gonna do that anymore. But at the very least, Donaghy talks a lot about how refs develop grudges in a way that seems a little more realistic, perhaps, than his accusations that every ref gambled all the time. But like, at the very least, his association with Foster suggests to me that perhaps Scott Foster is a petty bitch.
Petty bitch at the very
because
least.
He was friends with the pettiest imaginable bitch in the universe. You know?
Right.
Okay.
I mean, yeah. Absolutely.
But you are suggesting that perhaps Scott Foster is in with the mafia.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying
Yakuza,
like
the Yakuza.
Well, one of the other themes in this report is that when it comes to the NBA, the NBA's defense of things, they definitely like try way too hard, almost in the style of like the Netflix Firefest documentary, which is produced with a very clear agenda, because the people who made the documentary are named in a civil lawsuit. So it kind of is reminiscent of that, the way the NBA reacts to this whole thing. They like the same way that the Netflix documentary like overly paints Billy McFarland as this like sole sociopathic individual who did this, you know, he was just manipulating everyone. It's like, really? Do you really seriously, like none of you other people were just like also grifting? It kind of like the NBA is like, oh, Donaghy was the only one. They doth protest way too much, basically. And there was a point in the investigation when Donaghy was about to wear a wire and go talk to other refs.
Yeah.
But the NBA leaked this shit before that could happen.
Oh.
They dragged him out into public before that could happen. And they also developed something that is not really mentioned in the Donaghy book.
I will say, wouldn't Donaghy have just ratted people the fuck out, like, in his book, if that was the case, though?
I don't know. There's a lot. I mean, there's a lot going on that we don't know about, obviously.
Yeah.
But very, very conspicuous is that, like, all of these, not all of these refs, but, like, a ton of them are from, like, the same network of people in Philly. These refs are, like, all fucking old school Philly dudes.
Mm-hmm. Like,
so,
who
like,
else? I mean, Crawford, I know, but who else?
It's like Ed Rush is as well. Foster is, I think. Like, just like a lot of them. Like the referee, the Brotherhood of the Refs, the police officers, in other words.
Uh-huh.
The basketball police officers.
Wilmes, do you feel a little True Detective-y right now, maybe?
I mean, this is a very well-reported piece. I'm mostly relying on things.
Okay, all right.
But I don't know what happened overall.
You're just asking questions.
I'm not even asking questions. I'm just sort of telling you what's in this report.
Mm-hmm.
There's some perspective from Donaghy's wife in this report.
Oh, that's fun. What'd she say?
Well, she said, first of all, you know, they got divorced when all this shit hit, right? But she says, like, well, that was a long time coming because for years and years, this guy is always behind a locked door on the phone, and I'm finding sweaty wads of cash in his jacket, and I don't know what the fuck is going on. And I'm just like, oh, yeah, that makes sense, okay.
Donaghy was particularly sweaty when he handled money.
Yeah.
It's because it's because he was a dog waiting for his good boy.
Right.
And he just he just couldn't handle it until he got it. So he just
listen. I'm just going to go out on a limb here and say there was at least a period of at least 1 year when Donaghy was by far, no one even close, the sweatiest man in America.
I mean, he was a ref, and he was a wildly corrupt individual. You know,
he's probably living every waking moment in a state of profound anxiety.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, because the mafia had also threatened to murder his family, of course.
On his account, there's nothing really. There's an allusion to his saying that in the book, in this report, but like the more like nobody really corroborates that. Basically, all the accounts about him meeting with people were just like they were all pretty copacetic. Honestly, it seems like everybody was kind of like pretty peacefully.
Yeah, you think he might have made that shit up then?
Oh yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but possibly. I don't know, man.
Hard to say.
Yeah, real tough to say on that one. So
the funniest thing about that in that book is that like in that book he says the mafia threatened my family, and then he's like, but what was I supposed to do? Go tell the NBA and the police that I gambled all the time?
It's like, yeah, I think maybe.
Yeah, that is actually the responsible thing to do.
Probably, yeah. It's your family, dude.
Yeah. Hey. Which is to say, maybe not a good fucking God. Why is it snowing so hard?
Oh, I couldn't answer that one for you.
I don't even know what's got like this is blowing my mind. I can't even. It's snowing so hard. It's kind of like rain.
Welcome to Chicago,
Yeah,
dude.
I know. You're in Chicago all the time, so you're like, hey, whatever. Hey, who cares? But
right, I do talk like that.
you do talk like that. Maybe you should start talking like that.
Nah, I don't want to do that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Anyway, to pivot back to this Rockets-Lakers game.
Okay. I didn't watch Rockets-Lakers last night. I watched Kings-Warriors.
I watched as much of it as I could. But in any event, people hate the Rockets so much, dude, that they're ready to, like, get behind Scott Foster.
Yeah, disgusting. Revolting. Don't do that.
Don't do it.
Also, you're willing to get behind the Lakers, for God's sakes.
The Lakers are garbage, dude.
Yeah.
And you know what? LeBron is garbage.
Okay. All right. Let's time out. Why are you saying that? Don't say that about LeBron.
He's gotten way too much of a pass for way too long.
All right. Okay, Skip. I didn't know I was having Dr. Bayless on the show today. What's going on?
This dude is picking up the ball and taking 5 steps, and nobody's calling him on it.
What the fuck? Wilmes, what are you doing?
Watching LeBron play basketball, which is a painful and joyless enterprise for the most part.
Oh, wow. Like it always has been, or it is right now?
Okay, so I have a confession to make.
Uh-huh.
And this is regarding our primary source material, Michael Jordan.
Yeah. Big
Michael
MJ.
Jordan, the sort of shot that a lot of people try to frame as like the shot with him in 1998, his last shot with the Bulls, game-winning shot against the Jazz, 6th championship, all that. It's not like, I'm not saying he should have gotten called for a foul on that, but it's definitely not a shot that like I feel that much of like a connection to on a literary or thematic level. I think that people load too much into it. It's pretty graceless, honestly, and it's definitely the biggest star in the world getting away with a certain something that not everybody's going to get away with. And it just never, it always kind of rang hollow with me when it's presented as like this great moment, you know? But the NBA had sort of like put so much on him and loaded so much on him. And I think the sense is like Bulls are going to win this game anyway. Bulls are going to win this series somehow anyway. Like this is a perfect ending. Nobody's going to be awkward enough to stop it, right? Nobody's going to blow the whistle on it. The NBA wants to tell this story, right? LeBron has gotten whistles like that to an absurd degree because the league honed this storytelling method, this sort of mono-star narrative. And like LeBron got it earlier and more frequently. And at this point of his career, he's just playing reckless bully ball all the time. And it's stupid. It's not fun to watch. And the league fucking manufactures like a few extra Laker wins. There's no way they're going to let them miss the playoffs. And it's just bullshit. I don't like watching it.
Wow.
I mean, you can't deny it, dude. He runs all over the place with the ball in his hands. He never gets called for fouls. It's insane.
Okay. We just don't usually have takes this hot on the show. I'm a little flummoxed.
It's evident though. Like, do you disagree?
I don't know if I do. I don't know if I have a good answer for you. I haven't been watching the Lakers the last few weeks. I've been in a K-hole, man, with this thing I'm working on. I just finished the draft yesterday.
Let me tell you, you're probably gonna have to do more work.
Yeah. Why? Because it's 9,000 words long.
Yeah, that's probably gonna be a pretty lengthy editing process.
Yeah. No shit.
Are you worried about blowback?
Nah. Please don't talk about what it's about. But
no, I'm not going to. But
yeah.
I know what it's about, and I know that blowback will occur.
Yeah. Nah, not really. A little. Not really, though.
'Cause I have a piece coming out, I think on Monday, that I'm afraid of the blowback.
Okay.
But, so we'll go through this together.
Oh, cool, great. I mean, my thing probably is going to come out for a week or two, but
Right. Yeah.
I was talking to somebody about your piece last night. Anyway.
You were.
Yeah.
Was it your dad? Was it your dad?
Yeah, it was my daddy. I said, Johnny's writing a piece.
And then he said, "Good boy, good boy, good boy,
good boy, good boy." And I wagged my tail. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Tail wagging delight. So I don't want to be. First of all, I want to cite my sources because Open Floor Podcast, great podcast,
wonderful podcast, the second best NBA podcast.
This is number one.
No, Round Ball Rock's number one, baby.
So what are we, 3 or 4?
Yeah, sure.
Because Windhorst Collective is.
Yeah.
Good.
I like Dave's episodes of
Nerd or She Wrote.
Yeah, I like Nerd or She Wrote too.
So we're like 6th or 7th.
Yeah.
We're like the 69th best NBA podcast.
Oh, I really like we already had Clyde.
I don't even know what that is.
It's a Blazers podcast. It's hosted by Seth Johnston and Brandon Lyons.
I didn't know that Seth had a podcast.
Yeah. It's about the Blazers, and I think I'm gonna have Seth and Brandon on soon. But and I've been on their show once, but I really enjoy it a lot because it's a Blazers podcast, right? I'm trying to pitch it to my audience. It's a Blazers podcast, right? But the hosts are hopelessly nihilistic and mean.
That's good.
Yeah, it rules. It's so good because Blazers fans, they're a little sentimental as an aggregate. And it's good to listen to something where the guys are like, they should fucking trade Lillard, trade CJ, trade all these bums, like every week. It's great.
That is good. I mean, you want to hear the truth.
Yeah. There's one episode where Brandon just says, like, they should move the team to Seattle. Just as a matter of fact statement.
He might as well. He might as well say it.
Yeah. It's so good. It's so good.
There's lots of things you can say.
If you like the NBA, listen to We Already Had Clyde. If you're a Blazer fan, listen to it. If you got, if you're not a wimp. So
anyway, to get back to what I was saying,
continue.
Open Floor Podcast they've been on this all year. They've been on the refrain. They basically give at least 5 to 10 minutes of Giannis propaganda every episode.
Uh-huh.
They love this dude. They are convinced and have convinced me thoroughly that we just do not appreciate this guy enough. He's so good. He's so awesome.
Very good, yeah.
You know what? He's the best player in the league.
What about Curry?
I think that next year
just doesn't have any traction for you, Curry.
Well, if Durant leaves next year, we can really see what's up there.
Okay, all right, that's fair.
Curry got hurt. Curry was starting.
You know what I will say? I will say about LeBron. He's definitely taken a step down this year, and we're definitely in the back half now.
Yeah, no,
and also he was. I hate to use the word. Also, he was dopey enough to think that going to the Lakers was a good idea basketball-wise. Or he was cynical enough that he went to the Lakers for early retirement. And on a human level, I appreciate that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't mind it as in like a moral or ethical way. I think that if he wants to bleed the Lakers dry and fuck with their team and make everybody in the fan base mad and fuck with management for a few years at the tail end of his career, I think that's fine. I think that's fun and good. I like it. But as far as like how I use that to evaluate his current place in the league, not good.
No.
You know what I mean?
Giannis is glowing up, and I think just already the best player in the league. And this crystallized for me just watching him last night. I was at the bar. Shouts to Patrick Cosmos, listener, friend of the program.
So muscular, this guy.
Really somebody who's got an impressive body.
Yeah.
And we were at the bar, and the game is on. And Tatum has the ball. He seems all alone.
The worst player in the league.
No, Tatum's pretty good.
Boo, you're no fun.
I think you do have a case that he might be the most overrated player in the league.
Okay. All right.
Because people talk about him like he's the Messiah or something, but he hasn't even...
No, he just plays in Boston.
He is only 20 years old, so there's a long career ahead of him.
So young. Basically a fetus.
Well, he'll be 21.
Sorry, that's a round ball. That's a round ball rock joke. I'm sorry.
I mean, I think it's a universal NBA Twitter joke to sort of sarcastically deify the youth of Jason Tatum. But it's not like was the rookie of the year, and it's not like he's an all-star.
He wasn't. You know what? He wasn't the rookie of the year. That's true.
He wasn't even number 2.
Who was the rookie of the year last year? Simmons. Yeah, Simmons. And then Donovan Mitchell.
It was very clearly Simmons. He was way ahead of the pack.
Yeah, well, all right. Well, Mitchell was very good.
Mitchell is very good, but if you look at the first place votes, you did not get very many.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And that was a thing when the Sixers were visiting the Jazz earlier this season, and the Jazz have one of their fake honor things, their fans anyway. Yeah. The fan base is really insecure and insane and big crybabies about stuff like this. But,
Wilmes is just mad at everybody today. Fuck LeBron. Fuck Jazz fans. Fuck Scott Foster.
I mean, I'm just telling the truth. But
Chris Paul is the only person you're not mad at today.
Dude, Chris Paul is on God's plan. This is my new thing with Chris Paul. All the foulings you want to talk about Chris Paul, I know what they are. You know what they are? Those are earthly foulings. He is on God's plan. Okay?
Okay.
And he's
Wilmes said the other day, I was like, hey, we should do an episode because I've been busy and I just didn't have time to do it, taking a break this week. But but Wilmes was like, no, I got plenty to talk about this week. And I was like, okay, but yeah, he really does. Anyway, go ahead.
So Donovan Mitchell, the problem with him, first of all, he is awesome. I love watching him play, and actually really like the Jazz. I think that, they're a little worse this year than they were last year.
Yeah, and their fan base is a little too...
I don't quite understand why they're worse.
Caught up in matters of honor. But
it's they are way too caught up in it. It's basically the same team, but I think that, so for instance, they beat the Thunder in a series last year.
Uh-huh.
They would not be able to do that this year.
Probably not. I mean, in fairness, the Thunder are a lot better, too. So
the Thunder are a lot better by virtue of losing Carmelo and by virtue of Paul George turning into a god. And
also maybe partially by virtue of that thing lessening Westbrook's role on the team.
Yeah, I mean, Westbrook, for the most part, accepting that.
Yeah, really not 100% not what I expected. I mean, honestly, kudos to him. But
and then they got, really good depth. They added Schroeder and Noel on the bench. Jeremy Grant has gotten better. This team is awesome. Terrence Ferguson has gotten better. My pet theory, and they're either I think my pet theory is they're the second best team in the league. But I think they might be third because of how good Giannis is. But so the Sixers are visiting the Jazz earlier this season, and Jazz media or fans or whatever, and in a way that Donovan Mitchell takes on the fan culture anxiety way too much, right? And this is epitomized in him wearing a sweater that had the definition of the word rookie on it last year, which was the lamest thing anyone could have ever done.
Yeah, please give me an award.
Yeah, change the rule, please. It's over a dumb award that doesn't mean anything. Do you know who's a rookie of the year? Malcolm Brogdon, Michael Carter-Williams. Who cares, dude?
I forgot about Malcolm Brogdon.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people thought that Embiid should have been the rookie of the year, even though he played 40 games or something.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, he was
very good.
He was the best rookie player that year.
Yeah.
But so, Donovan Mitchell tries
Ben Simmons didn't want that. But
I don't want to talk about that yet.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But so the Sixers are visiting the Jazz, and media starts asking Simmons these questions about like, oh, is this like a rivalry to you between you and Donovan Mitchell or whatever? And he's just like, no. And they're like, what do you mean? Like you know, it was a tough, like close, like rookie of the year battle. And he was like, how many first place votes did Donovan Mitchell get? It's like, oh, not very many. Ben Simmons was the runaway rookie of the year, and then Donovan Mitchell was the obvious number 2, and then Tatum was the, I guess, obvious number 3 there, right? He hasn't been a top 2 rookie of the year.
Well, Jaylen Brown was a rookie last year. Am I crazy? Right?
No, it was the second year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but so Tatum.
I'm a big fat dumbass.
Well, that's
it's fine.
Nobody's saying that.
Nobody's saying that. Just say it, Corbin. You're a big fat dumbass.
Nobody's saying
You're
that.
You're especially the fat part. All right. You need to lose weight, Corbin.
Are you done talking to yourself?
This is why everybody leaves.
But so
Wilmes is the only one who will stick by you, because he's the only one more pathetic than you.
Well, what are you doing here?
What?
Don't drag me into this.
Well, sorry.
I'm not part of this argument you're having with yourself.
Sorry. My bad. I forgot.
It's all good. So
you're gonna be 70 years old. The only person you'll have is John Wilmes on the end of a Skype line.
Wow, dude. What about Wario?
He's not even your main, Corbin.
But so Simmons shrugs this shit off. I don't know why we got on this. Honestly.
In fairness, part of that, I mean, like, can I offer an alternate take?
Yeah.
Because I feel like you're like, yeah, cool. I feel like part of the reason he did that is because he's like a psychopath.
Who?
Simmons.
Oh, well, of course he is. All these guys are psychopaths.
Yeah, but Simmons is like a chilling one.
You think so?
I don't know.
I don't think so. I think he's like just a chill guy for the most part. I'm like wondering how. I don't know. I think I need to see, like, I think that talent wise, he's, to me, he's clearly the best of his like cohort. With like, Embiid and Giannis being they're like a cohort up, like they're a little older, like the 23 and under cohort.
I think that there's a possibility that Ben Simmons.
You could say Luka, maybe, but
Luka's probably better than him.
I think that's a lot less clear to me.
I think that there's a possibility that Ben Simmons is just big Rondo.
I mean, that's just fundamentally incorrect.
Okay, all right, fine. Go ahead.
That reviews you as very lazy on this subject.
Okay, fine.
That's what a lot of people who don't.
I mean, I was talking to a prominent sports writer last night. I said this, and they said, yeah, that might be true. I'm not going to say who, but...
Right. I mean, you can tell me later, but that person has revealed themselves as pretty bad on this subject.
Wow. When you find out who it is, it's Zach Lowe.
It wasn't Zach Lowe.
No.
See, I know it's not Zach Lowe because Zach Lowe is actually like a attentive analyst, and he is one of the only...
Is he an attentive lover?
I think he probably is. Yeah. Honestly, he might be too attentive of an analyst to be as attentive of a lover as he could be.
Oh, wow. You think that his devotion to the art of knowing basketball might be keeping him from achieving his
Corbin,
maximum.
If I were to suggest to you that there was a night in the Lowe household during which Mrs. Lowe wanted to do a certain something, but Zach Lowe was like, I'm sorry, I can't have to watch this game. Do you think that's something that's happened before?
Yeah, probably.
Okay, me too. I also think that's happened before.
Yeah.
But so he's one of the only people who I hear talk about Ben Simmons in a way that makes sense to me, honestly. So it's like, oh, we're watching everyone else. I'm like, are we watching the same player? Like, you think he's tall Rondo? Like, are you actually watching?
Yeah, but he just got the same thing where what he's willing to do is so like fussy and weird.
That's not true.
Okay. All right.
This is just deification of 3-point shooting. That's all that is.
Yeah, but it's obviously useful, Wilmes.
You're saying that 3-point shooting is obviously useful. No shit. That's a thing that you want to have on your team. Now, last season, what happened at the end of the season? Joel Embiid got hurt, couldn't play for a while. What do people think? Oh, well, let's see how the Sixers play without him. You know what they did without him? With Ben Simmons being the pivot point for everything they did. They won a 15-game winning streak. Does that sound like something that would happen under Rajon Rondo's watch at any point of his career?
No, probably not.
Okay, there we go. I mean, the talent difference is, it's absurd, dude. It's like absurd.
Okay.
This is like comparing James Harden to Ben Gordon or something.
Mm-hmm. He isn't not like Ben Gordon.
I'll let the listeners fill in the gap there.
Okay. I mean, he's better than Ben Gordon, but...
Oh, you think?
But, he's definitely got some Ben Gordon DNA. I'm sorry.
I don't even think that's true, honestly. Like, they both score. Uh-huh. That's like their primary function.
Yeah.
But like,
yeah.
That's where it ends.
Yeah, like I said, Ben Gordon DNA.
That's where it ends.
Yeah.
Oh, so this has all been a pretty long multi-digressional.
LeBron James, Boris Diaw DNA.
Oh, no way, dude. LeBron isn't close to being cool enough for that to be the case.
Oh, wow. You're so mad at LeBron right now.
Dude, this Lakers era LeBron has been so incredibly whack.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, once again, I just want to say I like it because I fucking hate the Lakers.
Right. I mean, we all hate the Lakers.
Yeah, and I want to see them suffer, but it's maybe not been great for LeBron's reputation.
So this has all been a multi-digressional thing away from watching the game last night.
Uh-huh.
Tatum's got the ball on the breakaway. Giannis is way behind him, but like I'm just like, dude, he's gonna block that shot. Like, there's no way he's not going to. Giannis's stride is preposterous. It's even probably more preposterous that I've come to like expect it. It's like, oh, I know that he at half court while Tatum is like a foot inside the 3-point arc, and Giannis is like barely past half court, and I'm like, he's going to block that shot.
Yeah.
And he comes up from behind him, and the English, he doesn't touch him at all. And the English he puts on this block is just like stunning. And everybody in the bar is like, what the fuck did he just do?
And Tatum, he turns into a baby.
Right.
Right there. He's got a diaper on.
He's saying,
give me a boob to eat out of.
Give me a what?
Give me a boob to eat out of.
How gross, dude.
That's what babies do. I don't know.
I mean, it's true, but the phrasing, the sort of that you use there was kind of out of control, honestly.
Yeah. Well, all right. So, look, I'm sorry that biology freaks you out so much, Wilmes.
Boob to eat out of.
Yeah. Give me a boob to eat out of.
Hey, so let me ask you.
That's what Jason Tatum said.
Let me ask you what you think about all this Kyrie shit going on. Kyrie Durant shit going on. You know what I'm talking about?
That Kyrie might have said 2 max slots.
Who cares? Like, he was talking to Kevin Durant, like, outside of the locker room or something at All-Star Weekend. And people have lip read it for him to basically say, we're going to the Knicks together, right?
Yeah. Seems like he probably didn't say that to Durant.
But then people ask him about it, and he fucking freaks out and goes on this anti-media rant, much like Durant did when people started asking about going to the Knicks. And it's in both guys' cases, it's doth protest too much shit. It's like, dude, like, it would be so easy for you to kill this story by saying something boring. But instead you freak out and say that the media is out to get you, and it just makes everyone think you're going to the Knicks more, right? Don't you think they're going there more now?
I don't know what I think, man.
Like, I don't necessarily think they're going there. I kind of do. But I definitely believe it more when they overreact so much to questions about it. All of a sudden they turn into this thing where it's like, you're assaulting my privacy, or you're disrespecting me, you're fake news, basically, is what they're saying. And I'm just like, oh, well, you clearly are like deflecting. Like,
Well, you know where I think they're gonna play.
Where?
Dang Russia.
Oh, because the fake news stuff.
Yep.
That's what's ruining America.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. It's whataboutism, this dastardly Putin-esque technique.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know that the Russians invented hypocrisy and logical inconsistency?
Yeah, that's actually true. People don't know that. Pushkin did. It's the first guy to use. The first guy to use a bad faith argument was actually Alexander Pushkin.
Right. It's a Russian tradition. Yeah. Somebody was mean to me at the bar last night. You know, obviously he's a Russian.
Was it Cosmos?
No. Oh. We were hanging out with the third guy who actually was Russian though.
Oh, okay.
But I didn't. I mean,
Cosmos can't be mean. He's those muscles, you know.
Right. Those are benevolent muscles.
Those are gentle, kind muscles, baby.
Right. I mean, everybody knows this. This is established. This is canon.
Yeah, Patrick Cosmos.
Body is canon, dude.
Yeah, it's a cannon. But it shoots out hugs.
Right. It's a hug gun.
Yeah.
We're talking a lot about this, huh?
Yeah, for some reason.
Yeah, I hope it doesn't make him uncomfortable, honestly.
I hope it does make him uncomfortable.
That's what you're going for.
Yeah, I hope he's walking down the street, lawyering wherever the fuck he does that. And then he hears us going, beautiful muscles, and he's like, ooh.
You got any other NBA takes for me?
Kings are good.
They almost beat the Warriors.
Yeah, they almost beat the Dubs last night. LeBron should have gone to the Kings.
You know what's going to happen, though?
What?
Actually, let me look at the schedule to see if this is a possibility. But I feel like the NBA is going to fuck over the Kings this year and get the Lakers in the playoffs instead.
Uh-huh.
That seems like almost...
I don't even know. What are the standings right now?
They're like basically tied. And they're like in 9th and 10th place. Okay, it's not possible. Well, the last time this Kings and Lakers play is fairly late in the season, Sunday, March 24th.
Uh-huh.
It's at LA. There's no way the Kings are going to win that game.
Yeah, because the fix is fucking in, right, baby?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. God, the Lakers are dog shit.
They're horrible to watch, dude. I do not like watching them at all.
And everyone, like, all of their young players, they suck.
They're not.
LeBron went to a team full of shitty young players on an organization that doesn't know what the fuck to do with anything. For nothing that resembled a basketball reason.
I do not have any sort of love for Ingram. I like Kuzma. I think that Lonzo will be good, but that organization does not know how to do anything correctly.
Yeah, they're just shitty. They're just a shitty organization.
Yeah,
they're just LeBron played for the Cavs before this,
which was a dog shit team.
And I'm sitting here like LeBron went to a worse organization.
Kinda. Like he kinda did.
The Suns are last in the West. They had the top pick in the draft this year. They just didn't improve at all.
No, they didn't. That's a pretty bad organization also.
Yeah. Terrible.
Also, they gave a max to Devin Booker.
Yeah. Just the worst fucking... I forgot about that. You shouldn't give... You know what? I don't want to sound like fucking Bill Simmons on here today. Probably shouldn't give a max to a guy if you're not even close to making the playoffs with him.
If you don't want to sound like Bill Simmons, make sure you don't start saying weirdly negative things about middle-aged women.
All right. And so cause one of the Kyrie thing I kind of thought you were talking about is that somebody gave an interview with him where they were like the leadership stuff, and he was like, yeah, you know, and I don't know, he gave like a relatively honest answer about it that I don't think was terribly controversial. Do you know what I'm talking about, Wilmes?
Not exactly. Did he say like I have to be a leader or something?
Yeah, shit like and like this, this is hard, blah blah blah.
You mean the interview where he was like, now I understand how hard it was for LeBron.
Yeah. And Bill Simmons, bless his heart. Don't get me wrong. Bless his heart.
Bless his heart. He's definitely turning into like a Mike Francesa type of character, though. Which I'm all for it, by the way.
Okay. But he just says something like, Kyrie just needs to understand that, giving answers like this just makes it worse. It's the weirdest Boston sports plot I've ever seen.
That's actually not a bad Boston accent. Doesn't sound like anything like Bill Simmons.
Yeah, I know, but
not a bad Boston accent.
Thank you. That's sweet of you to say. But the snow stopped, in case you're wondering.
Oh my God, thank you for informing me.
Yeah, no problem. But it's just like Kyrie, like, why are you a fucking sports writer if Kyrie's sitting across from a reporter and giving like a fairly honest answer about the sort of trials and tribulations of his path? Like, why are you a sports reporter if you see that and it makes you mad?
I mean, he's just like, Simmons' whole energy about Kyrie has become incredibly "my wife left me," and his energy is that way about like all of these stars, sort of like swinging their dicks around, basically, and just like trying to get out of their situations or like plotting in advance to leave or whatever. Which, I mean, I think there's an emerging understanding, and again, I want to cite my sources. The Open Floor podcast was very good on this topic this week. There's an emerging understanding that quote-unquote player power is actually like just superstar power that only like at max 20 guys have, probably closer to a dozen, honestly. And it's actually not good for most of the players. It actually creates dog shit working circumstances for like, imagine being on the Pelicans right now. It's a horrible situation.
Yeah, that's true. Did you see Lillard? Did you see Lillard this week talking about how he wants to stay, how he doesn't want to force a trade because he doesn't want to fuck with the other guys on his team?
I mean, that's good.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, that might actually be true because he says like, yeah, me and Al Farouk are friends, and me and CJ are friends, and I don't want to, I don't want to fuck with them like that. Like I'm not looking to fuck up everyone else on the team's life.
Well, imagine being Drew Holiday right now.
Oh yeah, nightmare.
It's a horrible situation. Drew Holiday is an awesome player, and we should be getting him on a good team. And we should be getting.
I will say though, regarding Davis, at the very least, like that team was so bad. I think it's natural for him to want to get out of that situation.
Wait, what? The Pelicans?
Yeah.
Are you talking about the team that swept the Blazers last year?
I don't know what you're talking about.
They're very good. They were very good last year.
Yeah, but they were bad this year. But why were they bad this year? All right, good point.
Well, because he signed with Clutch in November and started leaking shit.
Yeah. And
then everybody's like, what am I doing here? What's going on here? I was excited for them this year,
I was, and I wanted them to lose a bunch.
Right. I know you've become pretty pathological about the Pelicans. It's really weird, honestly. This is your new Jokic. After you realized you had to drop that because it was insane, like you just transported it to the Pelicans.
Davis has never been a guy who I was like super into.
Oh, I've always loved watching him play.
It's a little.
He's a monster, dude.
Whatever. It's too. You know what? I'm about to say it. People aren't going to want to hear this. It's too thin.
Shut up.
And this isn't like a qualitative thing. This isn't like he's too thin to be good at basketball. He's just too thin for me to enjoy.
I was talking to a student this week, and usually we're in chairs when we're talking, but we were walking around. And he was just like, John, you're actually kind of tall. And I was like, oh, I'm pretty normal. It's not a big deal. And then he's like, we're continuing for whatever reason to talk about my physique. It was kind of weird.
But he's like, you have beautiful, huge muscles. He was grabbing your arm.
Yeah. But then I was like, you're in the wrong place. You're not in the Cosmos wing of this. Like, it's me. No, but I was like, I think I just have like long limbs. I'm kind of like an orangutan. And then I think we both agreed that I was built like Waluigi. That's what I'm thinking of when you're describing Anthony Davis's physique.
I made a joke that he this week that didn't take off. It was a picture of Wario and Waluigi in a car, and I said picture of, and I said LeBron and AD on the Lakers next year.
Listen, LeBron on the Lakers, the way he plays, the way
Wario,
he acts,
Wario, 100%, dude.
Incredibly Wario.
100% What LeBron has enormous Wario energy right now, and Clutch is like his little fucking warrior wear company.
It's it's absolutely true, dude. Honestly, this might be our best take yet.
Yeah. LeBron is Wario now. But here's the thing, I kind of like Wario, so I don't know if I hate it 100%. But
LeBron just like running around with the ball in his hands is absolutely it's absolutely Wario on the motorcycle. It's not debatable.
Hi. Oh, somebody just followed me.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, you didn't need to know that. Anyway.
Was it somebody pretty good? Was it Trump?
Yeah, Donald Trump just followed me. At real Donald Trump.
Shouts to Donald Trump. No, I want to take that back. He sucks.
Shouts to Donald Trump, our president. You might not like it, but he's still your president.
Wow, there's some news happening today, huh?
Oh, what's going on?
Robert Kraft.
Mm-hmm.
New England's Patriots owner.
I'm trying so hard to not have a Robert Kraft take.
Because you've already been on the Patriots take wagon.
It isn't just that too. It's also I'm not sitting here trying to act like I think prostitution should be illegal, but also it seems like that this place he's going might have been doing human trafficking, but also prosecutors maybe tend to manufacture human trafficking stuff sometimes, and so I just don't want to fucking have a take on it. But also, I want bad things to happen to Robert Kraft.
I mean, I don't want good things to happen to him.
Yeah, it's just a whole like, I'm just let's just let this one play out. Lewis fucking Shanghaied me into having a take on it, but
you've been shanghaied into having a take on this.
Yeah, because Lewis is like, this couldn't have been better for Corbin Smith.
Oh, I think it probably could have been better for you.
Yeah, like if I got money out of it somehow.
I mean, you could turn it into a column.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna.
Robert Kraft getting a hand job, the column.
I just I don't know. I just can't, because here's the thing. What if it really is a human trafficking operation? Like, what if it, then I don't want to be like, it's cool that Robert Kraft went to a human trafficking operation. It's just not a story I want to plumb into, No, I don't give a fuck if he was getting hand jobs at a massage parlor.
A story that I feel similar about in terms of I don't want to get into it, or I have felt this way. Now I think it's actually the air is a little more clear. Is this Jussie Smollett saga?
Uh-huh.
You know about this, right?
Yeah, of course. I think everybody does.
Everybody knows about this. The story that made no sense at any point was revealed as a hoax.
Shout out to our friend Julian.
Our friend Julian, who was very privately. None of us have wanted to talk about this publicly, right?
Like the second it happened, almost, our friend Julian was like, "I don't know about this."
Yeah, his main thing was like for all the reasons you could have said this was bullshit. Julian was just like, that guy has money and he went to Subway at 2 a.m. Where it's like, yeah, I mean, it's pretty fishy. Like,
yeah,
I wouldn't do that.
Yeah, and we were kind of like, okay, Julian, but it turned out he was fucking right.
But then he started telling us more and more about it, and I was like, that is insane. Like, first of all, the guys attacking him are Nigerian Trump supporters.
Mm-hmm. That doesn't make sense.
That famous category of people.
Nigerians.
Yeah, they love Donald Trump, obviously.
Look, say what you will about Nigerians. They love the troops.
But I like people I think there was a good tweet
Also,
about
don't say what you will about Nigerians.
Oh no, don't.
Don't say what you will about any race of people.
We can get off of that immediately.
Yeah.
But a good tweet about it by @eviewing just saying this is a very extraordinary and bizarre situation that doesn't tell us much or anything about quote unquote our culture, right? Yeah. All this cultural diagnosis going on. We don't need that. Like, this is an insane story.
This is weird.
But like
and the source of it is fucking weird because it seems like he did it because he wanted to get paid more at Empire.
Yeah, I think like he probably went about it in a way that was less rational than that.
Yeah, probably. It really is not. It's not a calculating. It is not a calculating scheme.
No, he paid his conspirators with a check.
So. He did. Wait, he
not
did?
Necessarily, yeah, he did.
Buddy.
So he's not necessarily someone who bought it.
Like PayPal, maybe. I don't, Like, look, you don't need to go full Bitcoin on this one, but...
I think that, like, some of the funniest shit I've now seen is watching him making his media cycle in the immediate aftermath, where he's, like, a martyr, and he's, like, getting gassed up and shit, and he's, like, fake crying on Good Morning America and stuff. And like trying to be this heroic figure. It's like, dude, you made this up. It's crazy. The fake glory period is like pretty amazing stuff. Like somebody's gonna make.
Do you think maybe we need to get one of these going?
Yeah, we should really like stage an attack. Maybe like Jazz fans will beat the shit out of us or something. Or like Celtics fans. Yeah, I don't know.
Patriots fans are my enemies.
Patriots fans, Boston sports, definitely Patriots fans is most believable, I think, at this point.
Corbin got beat up by Patriots fans.
Yeah,
we got the bravery to tell the truth about Trump.
Listen, we'll
what if hear me out? What if we make it Bill Simmons and his goons?
Ooh, now that is real, dude.
Yeah,
that's some real shit. Let's pay Louis Keene in check. To pretend to beat us up.
Nobody would believe it just because he's such a kind boy.
He's a kind guy. Yeah. We'll pay someone else. I'll say who it is on the premium feed. Listen, this conspiracy is going to continue to unfold, but on the premium feed.
Man, what if I actually get beat up by a bunch of Pats fans?
I mean, it's not impossible. It probably is impossible in the Pacific Northwest, but if you traveled.
Yeah. I want to tell you a story.
Corbin Smith, on vacation at Cape Cod.
I want to tell you a story.
Ran into some drunk Boston sports fans.
Yeah,
tell me the story.
I would never go on vacation in New England, though.
Not until you meet the love of your life who's from there and you get conflicted.
That would be a fucking nightmare. Oh, it would be so... If I was going out with somebody and I was like, I kind of like this person, and she was like, yeah, I'm a Boston sports fan, I probably would be like,
all of your feelings would just fall away.
Yeah, or I would be like, man, this one's just not going to work out, Big Corbs.
Wait, so what was the story you were going to tell?
Oh, so we were using a family member's Netflix account, and this family member roots for the Patriots. And after I wrote that article, I did not have access to that Netflix account anymore.
Really?
And I don't know if that's why it happened.
Probably not.
Probably not.
They probably, as someone who shares some passwords with you, and frequently has to ask you what you changed them to.
I don't change passwords that I share with you.
I mean, not all the time, but I've had to ask you before what you changed it to.
Fine. Okay.
Which is fine. Which is normal password sharing stuff. Sometimes you change your password and forget to tell your friends that you share it with what it is.
You think that they just changed their password and didn't tell me.
They probably forgot their
password. I will say this, though. So when I was using their Netflix, I made a new person. And before I got kicked off that account, the person had been deleted a few times.
Oh. Were you using it like without them knowing?
No, I said in a text to my family, and then like a family thread, I said, I need a Netflix password to use. Does anyone here have one? They gave me one. I used it for a few weeks. I wrote that article, and then my name kept getting booted off the account.
You wrote a take so hot that it got you excommunicated.
Yeah.
You've been abandoned by the family.
Yeah. I abandoned my child.
Right.
I abandoned my boy.
You went straight for the lake, the take lake. You wanted to like scoop that water up into your mouth, even though that you knew that it was like biting the apple in the garden.
Yeah. Sure.
What are you gonna do?
I have nothing. Get another Netflix password from somebody. You got one I can use, or?
I actually am sharing it with too many people.
Fuck.
Like, because occasionally I can't use my own account. So.
Wow, you were sharing it with a lot of fucking people, Wilmes.
No, I'm really only sharing it with 2 other people, but it's a max of 2 at a time. So. And they both use it. You know what? They've both been using it for quite a while. That's all I have to say about that. But can I talk to you about this video game?
Which one?
Grease.
Grease? Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
GRIS. Can't recommend it enough. For those of you who have a Nintendo Switch or a Steam or whatever, download Grease. It's like $16. It's by far the most beautiful video game I've ever played. Mm-hmm. It's not very challenging. Mm-hmm. It's not supposed to be. It's a pretty simple side-scrolling puzzle game.
You play it when you smoke weed.
That's not the worst idea I've ever heard.
Okay.
And it was so beautiful the other night that I was literally tearing up. I was like, this.
I'm glad we finally got to the John Wilmes portion of this story.
This game is beautiful. It's more like, like I said, it's not very challenging. It's kind of like moving through a painting. I've never played a game that has such an emphasis on the aesthetics. And it's just sort of like, I don't know, like imagine like looking at a beautiful abstract painting and being like, oh, I get to interact with this. I get to like move the people around in this. That's kind of what it feels like to play this game.
Cool. Great. Sounds fun.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll pick it up sometime. No promises.
Oh, Corbin, you got to do it.
I just got Stardew Valley.
Oh, I thought that you were done with that.
Yeah, me too.
It sounds like it's a bad game.
What do you mean?
I mean, like it ruins people's lives and shit.
No. That's never happened to me.
People get way too into it.
No.
I remember a friend of mine started getting... I've never played it because it's one of these games...
It scares you?
Kind of. A friend of mine...
Wilmes is scared of Zelda, too.
Well, I'm also hesitant on that one because it doesn't have the old school Zelda aesthetic.
Okay.
Which is what I really want. Like, Zelda. I want, like... I want to be taken back to the womb. I want those associational strings tugged at.
Okay, I mean, there's some of that in the game.
Not that much though.
Okie doke.
Right? Like it's a kind of like a new Zelda aesthetic.
No, because they work in stuff from the old games and
the old theme song.
I will say the theme song is not in there.
Well then, I'm not that interested. Anyway. What was I talking about? Stardew Valley. A friend of mine, he started playing it, and his fiance made him delete it because he was just playing it all the time. Yeah. And like it got to a point where she was like so mad at him that he was like scheduling time in his day to play it. So he's like, okay, I'm gonna be playing this from like 2 to 3 or whatever, and she was like, oh, whatever. But he said that like. He was over at my house in the midst of this, and we were drinking or whatever, and he started just like talking about his status in the game, and he went on for like a very long time about like all these different characters and their relationships to him and stuff, and he's like, yeah, I got like this girlfriend in downtown, and he's completely sincere. He's not even finding a sense of humor in this. He's just so far in at this point, and he's like, thank you for listening to me talk about this because. I'm at home, and I start talking about this, and Isabel just stands up and leaves the room.
I'm pulling up my Steam right now to see how many hours I put into it on Steam.
Is it 100?
Oh, more?
I've definitely put 100 hours into Smash Brothers. It's the only game I have, though.
Except for this Stony game.
Except Greece. That's my new game.
Yeah. I put like 100 hours into it on Steam at least. And I and I got it for iPad a little while back. I was like, yeah, whatever. Apparently, I'm not logged into Steam and I can't remember my password. It's gonna shock you guys. I frequently forget my passwords.
That's crazy.
I put at least 150 hours into Steam, maybe 170. But I got it for iPad, and I was like, maybe I'll play it every once in a while. Whatever. Who cares? I basically put like 20 hours into it over the course of a weekend.
20?
Yeah.
Wow. I don't even think I put that much into Smash Brothers like the first 2 days that I had it.
Yeah, nope. Yeah, no, I don't do it. Maybe Zelda I do it with. But no, Stardew Valley is like cocaine. It's a nightmare. So I re-downloaded it, whatever.
Oh, that was a good idea.
Yeah. No, it's a great idea. No, you know what? I will say this. Last night, I was able to say to myself at a certain point, I don't want to play video games anymore tonight. I want to do other things. And then I stopped.
I mean, in the winter, like, playing a lot of video games is pretty much fine.
Yeah. It's when it's nice out. Sure. Yeah, that sounds like a good...
I mean, when it's nice out, I won't want to play video games that much.
Yeah, but, like, shouldn't I read?
Probably.
Yeah. Shouldn't I, like, read books? Maybe do it. I think when I got my little iPad Stardew Valley K-hole, I think I might have just gotten broken up with.
Mm.
In fairness.
That's normal.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm like a normal boy.
I think so.
I'm like Tim Donaghy. I just want a good boy call.
That's what Stardew Valley says to you. Good
boy. Stardew Valley's the most good boy game in the fucking universe, dude.
It's starting to sound really healthy, Corbin.
No, it is. It's super healthy. No, but somebody, I don't remember who.
It was Trump.
No, yeah, it was. Had a tweet. It might have been Willie, because Willie also plays. We're going through all of our weird internet friends today.
Yeah, we're almost done, by the way. I gotta go take a shit or something.
Yeah, they're basically just like, it's like an accomplishment simulator. It's a game that simulates the feeling of waking up, accomplishing something, and going to sleep.
That's nice.
Yeah, but that's like cocaine. It's like accomplishment cocaine. A little bit, maybe.
And that's the end of that chapter.
Yeah. What was this? Okay. Thank you for listening. Please rate and review this podcast on iTunes. Maybe not this specific episode, but other ones.
Oh no, this one's got some takes, man.
Yeah. This one's got some scald to it, I suppose. Subscribe to our Patreon, patreon.com/take it or break it. We're gonna have an episode up on the Patreon this weekend, right?
We'll talk about it.
Okay.
Probably. We have to figure out what our next topic is.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah, I think we know what book we're gonna read next. But we need a shorter term thing to do this. Anyway, whatever. Yeah, that's all.
Bye.
Thank you for listening, everyone. Have a wonderful day. Bye.